Episode 3 opened a lot of questions that were never really answered. There were a lot of setups with no payoffs. Since the concept, the main heart of the story is time travel, it actually allows the exploration of a certain story different ways. Here are some of the theories that I have as inspired by episode 3 and 4 that may be pursued in different versions of this narrative.
Episode 3 and 4. Before I proceed, want to make my usual disclaimer. I am going to be giving away a lot of spoilers. So if you don't want to hear anything about the story, this is not the series for you. I'm going to discuss character development, narrative progressions, specific scenes. So just stop watching if you're not into that. Second disclaimer, I am not claiming to be absolutely right. This is my own interpretation. You are more than welcome to share yours. Okay, on to the video.
Haru's alternative personality has actually taken over. In episode 3, Haru kept on getting pushed over the edge. First is his older brother not wanting to see or talk with him. His parents actually went to the US without him, and that forced him to lie to his friends about why he was actually left behind. Second was Hosu, putting some distance between them when Hosu first learned about his mental illness. Hosu was supposed to be the brother he lost, and when Hosu seemed to have turned his back on him, it pushed Haru over the edge. In that scene of him walking out in the rain fighting the voices in his head, it is entirely possible the voice was already more dominant than it may seem, because earlier in episode 3, we witnessed his alternative personality fully in control of him. There is a universe in the future where Haru will have to battle himself in order to kill, or at the very least, control his alternative personality. Juan's father holds the key to time travel. In the very first episode, Juan found a video of him and his mother when he was a kid. There was a part where the supposed little him was crying and his mother was very close to the camera. He kept on pausing on that part, but it was never explained. What was he seeing there? Was the kid not him? Was it the face of his mother? That part was later erased by his father, which means there is definitely something there that his father is trying to hide. I do think it's our first clue as to how Juan will eventually be able to go back in time. There is something about the emphasis on how the light hits the child's face that seems more like a foreboding rather than a memory. Juan had probably something to do with his mother's death. Barely anything has been mentioned about Juan's mother. It's as if she lives only in Juan's head. The power of his father over him is also so strong that he can't even reason. After discovering his father erased the part of that video, he went to confront his father, but 3 sentences were all it took for him to retreat. It seems Juan had something to do with his mother's death. It is possible that his father's stern upbringing of him is also his father's way of protecting him from himself. Okay, I'm not saying that it was Juan who killed his mother. We don't even know where she is. But it's possible that Juan, for some reason, caused his mother to either pass or leave them. What Haru witnessed is something worse than what they actually showed. Whatever Haru witnessed when he was a kid that caused his trauma is actually downplayed. We only see a man taunting a child, but no contact was shown. The way Haru described it was more poetic than it was descriptive, but the trauma in Haru lasted his whole life. I think there is more to what the man did than what we were actually shown. It is possible that Haru encountered the man with different kids several times, and for some reason it was him who was allowed to live and live with it. It is also possible that it will slowly be revealed in each of Juan's time travel as he attempts to save his friends. But I do think that the mere guilt of having survived everything, having witnessed all of these kids suffering and finally passing, and him living his life freely, is actually what's destroying him. Juan has gone through far worse on his father's hands. Juwan's father is an abusive narcissist. He would constantly seesaw between torture and love bombing. We saw him hurting Juwan and then showing affection and then hurting him again. This is a classic narcissistic behavior. In Juwan's eyes, he is a father struggling from alcoholism because that's what he wants to believe. And we all know that Juwan can alter his reality when the reality in his face is something he doesn't like. I think his father put Juwan through much worse, and it isn't just because he is an alcoholic, but it seems it brings him some sort of happiness that there is this one person sticking it out with him. Juwan's ear damage is most likely a result of several beatings and not just a result of that time when his father slapped him in front of his friends. The story of BTS's music videos and songs is only the beginning of the story. One surprise I got is how they used BTS's music videos as a starting point of this epic story. BeginsYouth filled the empty spaces between the important scenes shown in BTS's music videos. But it does not complete the story, it actually starts the story. The end of BeginsYouth is when the actual story begins. This is when Juan will start to try and save them, correct the mistakes, and find out how he can finally go to the very root of the problem and deal with that. Juan made some critical mistakes. Needless to say, all of them were new to this family they created, but Juan is perhaps the newest to it. The other 6 guys were already friends before Juan joined them. But Juan is not just new to the group, he is new to the whole concept of having to take care of people and having other people take care of you. It's probably why his instinct was to give people what will make them feel good, not what will put them in a better position. And he made 2 critical mistakes that could have led his friends into a spiral. One is when he didn't ask Jeha to tell the truth after he discovered Jeha actually set up his stepbrother. His instinct was to comfort Jeha after Jeha opened up about his struggles. The second is when Juan gave in to Juwan's request for Juan to lie and say what happened to his ear was mere bad luck instead of a situation he can get out of. It gave Juwan some weird boost to continue living with his father. Juan should have tried to make Juwan face reality that what happened to his ear is just the beginning of a lifelong torture. They were teaching each other what love is. One understated thing about the 7 boys is how they are all deprived of love, and so they don't really know what love is. That's why when they started feeling it, they didn't quite know what to do with it. When they started receiving it, they didn't quite know how to respond to it. The unfamiliarity is actually what's messing them up and what's keeping them from expressing and showing love in the best and most noble of ways, which is what they all needed at that time. Love isn't simply giving in to the other person and just doing whatever it is what the other person wants, but also giving them what they need, even if it means earning their ire. Had they all been equipped with the experience of what love is and how it is to be loved, the decisions they would have made would have led them to salvation rather than damnation. They weren't aware they were teaching each other how to love, and by the time one finally figured it out, it was too late. Juwan's father is more than just a witness to what happened to Saein's mother. The guilt of Juwan's father is heavy, but not heavy enough for him to come clean as to what happened to Saein's mother. I think Juwan's dad is more than just a witness to whatever happened to Saein's mom. He may have affected it or directly participated in whatever it was that happened. His behavior isn't just of someone who witnessed a crime. After decades of hiding a dark secret and nearing the nighttime of your life, you would come clean to get it off your chest. But Juwan's father is fighting to keep everything in but goes around blaming other people for it. He couldn't even bring himself to tell Sane what happened when Sane actually asked him. It could only mean he couldn't control or confront the evil he did. Or telling the truth might put Juan or his family in danger. Dreams and hopes are the key. In that scene where they were around the campfire, they mentioned about what they envisioned for them in the future, and only two people had something concrete in mind: Hosu, who wanted to find his mother, and Donggun, who wanted to have a higher salary to get out of poverty. They are also the most functional, if you come and think about it. It seems that this is the key that will allow one to save them all, for each of them to have hopes and dreams. The lack of it is giving them no reason to go on, and it's making them reckless. I think that the only way one will be able to stop the cycle is not by stopping the action, but by changing the boys' intentions.
I think one of the things that's hindering a lot of people from fully appreciating just how great the progression of each character is the fact that there are many characters. There's 7 individual characters, and as I've said, I consider them as 7 to be the 8th character. And so the stories are spread out, and so the progression of each story is also spread out. So you don't fully appreciate, because it's not one after the other, you don't fully appreciate the layers or the stages of madness, for example, that Haru is going through, how the actor sort of went deeper and deeper and deeper into madness. So I hope that there's somebody that would put the scenes together for us to really see how the actor managed to make each stage scarier and scarier. But other than that, there are, as I've said, I don't think it's a perfect series, but it is a great one. There are certainly a lot of things that they could still improve on, and I'm sure that they will do it for the next season. I do believe that there's going to be a next season. All right, I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you have in mind. If there's anything that I missed, anything that you disagree with. I am trying to finish this before the Muse album drops. I don't know if I'm going to succeed, but I'm going to try. But I would love to hear your inputs. Please give this video a like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so that you don't miss a single video. And also share the video if you can. And please don't hesitate to get in touch with me in any of the social media links that you see on your screen right now. Please follow me on Patreon, Instagram, and on X or Twitter. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.